What's up, guys? Ricky here with another customization piece that I kind of wanted to just show you what I picked up the other day. So as you can see, this is the Spawn the Game from 1995, so Pressman. So I picked this up at a thrift store the other day for like, I think it was 16 bucks, so not bad, pretty good deal. I think it goes for more on the internet, but pretty cool. So just kind of want to show you that real quick. So we have that. And what I did is I customized some of the miniatures for it and thought I would show those off to you all. Okay, yeah, this game came with some pieces here. So it came with some dice, some bases, some cards, pieces here. Came with an instruction manual, which is also a Todd McFarlane comic book, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't played this game yet, but you have that, and then you have the game board, which is right here. So as you can see, we got Commando Spawn, we got Medieval Spawn, Pilot Spawn, and the original Classic Spawn. So pretty cool. Like I said, I don't exactly know how to play this just yet. I just kind of got the game and, planning on playing it, but just kind of got it just to see what it was like. But let me show you really quick what the miniatures look like prior. Okay, so here's what they looked like. Previous. So came with, obviously we have Spawn, we have Medieval Spawn, Pilot Spawn, which I never even heard of, but I saw it. I guess it was a classic action figure from the early 90s. Commando Spawn, Overt Kill, and Violator. So, and that's kind of what they look like on the game board. So yeah, so here we go. Let me show you what we got here as far as miniatures go. Okay, so here is the painted miniatures. So this is something I just kind of want to do. That's actually why I got it, was to paint it. So I did have, actually I still do, have an X-Men game, Under Siege, X-Men Alert, these other miniatures games by Pressman from the early 90s or mid 90s, and I painted those as well. So I just thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of painting. So like I said, they were pretty plain as is, but I thought if I'm going to play the game, let's play it right. So here we go. So as you can see, alright, looking pretty good. So we'll start with Violator first. So we got Violator. So this was a pretty quick one to do. So if you're wondering kind of what I did here, so all these didn't take much time. I wasn't trying to make them perfect, but I was trying to make them look decent as far as the game goes. So what I did here is I painted them actually all black. So I used a primer paint, so that works as a primer as well. So did it flat black, and then I dry brushed gray over the top, a medium gray. And I did like 2 coats dry brushed over the top just to kind of thicken it up a little bit. And then I added a white, almost like a white color over the top. And then for the horns, I did all the same process, except at the very end I added a little more white to the horns, and then did a brown dry brushed over the top to make the horns look a little different. And then obviously I have red in the mouth there. And these are pretty detailed for the 90s. These are pretty detailed miniatures. I mean, obviously our miniatures are a lot more detailed these days, but overall, looks pretty good. So that's the Violator. So next one I'll show you is, we'll go with Classic Spawn. So I did Classic Spawn here, and I was thinking about doing the one with the red, but I decided I just like the way this one looked better, like this kind of classic. So obviously just did the black primer paint, so I didn't have to paint it twice. And then just did red, and I had to do 2 coats of red, because black, obviously when you paint over black, a lot of the colors don't show up very well, so you have to do a few coats. So I put 2 coats on that, and then I did silver just to touch up the little pieces, and then did a little black wash on some of the parts. But, yeah, and then the cape, so same thing, black, and then I just did red, that's it, and just dry brushed it over the top and let the grooves kind of keep its thing. And then after I was done, I did seal them with a spray Mod Podge. And yeah, so it gives it a little gloss, but not too much if you spray it from a distance. So there's that one. Probably one of my favorites, Medieval Spawn. So I wanted to give it the classic look, so I did a metallic blue. And then obviously did like the silver touch-ups there, some red. Same thing, did red, 2 coats of the red. I dry brushed on the blue metallic pretty lightly, so I just had to do 1 coat of it, so that was pretty easy to do. 1 coat, and then the silver, the shimmering silver is only a 1 coat thing. It lays on so well that, I mean, I just am a huge fan of it. But did the same thing with the cape there. So that's medieval. Commando spawn I thought turned out pretty cool. So this is Commando spawn, and it looks a lot like the original. So obviously the guns, black with a shimmering silver dry brushed over the top. We have some red going throughout, so same thing, did 2 different layers of that. Did the silver and did a black wash over it, so that's why it looks a little more kind of aged, I guess is a good way to say it. Looks pretty good. So I did have to freehand the mask because the masks were not, they weren't etched on the miniature, so I had to hand do that, and I think it turned out pretty good overall. Okay, and then we did pilot spawn. So pilot spawn here. So this one turned out pretty good. So like I said, never heard of pilot spawn. Pilot spawn looks a little different than this, but the miniature just, it looked like this. So I decided to do this silver helmet and kind of try to make it pretty true to what it looked like. So a lot of the same practices on this one that I did with the other. What was really fun though was doing a little back piece there. So I did obviously the black. I did 2 coats of the red, but just dry brush pretty lightly. So the black kind of showed through. And then I took a silver and put barely any paint on it and just went over the top of it, so now it looks like it's actually metal, which I thought looked pretty cool. And that was a pretty quick, easy process as well. Cool, and then the last one, Overkill. The Overkill miniature I don't think is the coolest looking miniature, unfortunately. It didn't have as much details. It was more difficult to paint, to be honest with you, but I did the kind of classic emerald color, did the silver up close, add some gold, some white. Tricky thing is when you're painting over black, colors like, you know, beige, like skin color, you have to do quite a few layers, so that's why it's a little bit thicker than I would like it to be. But I think what would have been better is if I would have took a black primer paint and then maybe kind of taped it off a little bit and then did a white primer paint kind of over the top, or white paint, and just barely put some on there just so it could at least have the base. So then I would have only had to touch it up with 1 layer. Because yeah, when you put lots of layers on there, it does kind of get a little globby, unfortunately. So this one's not the best, but from a distance, I think it looks great. So from here, I'm not disappointed at all. It looks better than it did in the package. So yeah, so just thought I'd share all that with you today, just because I did, yeah, some customization stuff. So if you want to do it, I kind of told you the process, and if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. So thank you all so much for tuning in to another customization, and continue to check out my other videos of reviews, customizations, behind the shots, like my photography pieces, and feel free to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.